On June 3, 2022, an 18-year-old in Tangerang, Indonesia was struck and killed after stepping into the path of a loaded truck. What separated this from the many daily roadway tragedies was intent. It wasn't a misstep. It was part of a viral dare locals nicknamed Malaikat Maut, the Angel of Death challenge. Participants, mostly teenagers and other impressionable youngsters, would sprint into traffic and stand their ground in front of heavy lorries, betting the driver could halt several tons of mass in time. Physics say otherwise. The truck's stopping distance scales with speed and load. Even with full braking, momentum carries the vehicle dozens of meters. Add driver reaction time in mixed road conditions, and you have a ritual that turns split-second bravado into irreversible consequences. Beyond the terrible toll on participants, the trend traumatized drivers who faced legal jeopardy and lasting guilt for impacts they could not physically prevent. In one well-publicized case involving a 14-year-old, a panicked driver fled and instantly transformed a likely exoneration into a hit-and-run investigation. After the Tangerang death, police flooded hotspots and reportedly intercepted more than a dozen copycats the same day, while continuing patrols into the following months. Platforms later scrubbed related clips, starving the trend of the attention it fed on, but the underlying dynamic remains a cautionary loop. A small circle of thrill seekers, an algorithm that rewards shocking risk, and immutable math of mass times velocity. When those meet on an active carriageway, there is no room left for luck, only aftermath. Security Inspector Benji is used to clearing derelict properties, broken windows, squatters' nests, the usual. But this address is the one that lives in his head. Door slam with no wind, footprints appear in dust that should be undisturbed, and every sweep feels like it was done 5 minutes too late.
Ayun. There is somebody in here. I know you're in there, man. Hello? Police! I know you're in there, man. What the hell? This isn't your house, man.
A door swings on its own. No hinge groan, just a decisive open that makes him brace for a person. He assumes draft until a trespasser slips out of a space he had just cleared, a room that looked empty. He backs out and returns after dark to rerun the path, filming everything.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
On replay, slowed and zoomed, you can see it, a figure standing back in that same doorway, still as furniture, the outline almost invisible at normal speed. When he checks again moments later, the threshold is vacant. He leaves fast, adrenaline loud in his ears. Was it the same intruder circling the rooms, or someone else shadowing him between passes? The footage never answers the question. It only confirms the feeling that the house isn't vacant. It's occupied by someone who chooses when to be seen. This shocking footage was captured in northern China back in November 2023. A massive tanker truck sat waiting at a red light in the Hebei province, appearing completely normal at first glance. The driver had stepped out to inspect a possible mechanical issue, unaware that the vehicle he was standing beside was carrying a volatile cargo, over 30 tons of nitric acid. What he didn't realize was that one of the tanker's main valves had become clogged, creating a deadly buildup of pressure inside the container. Within moments, that pressure reached its limit, and the result was horrifying. The truck suddenly bursts open, releasing a violent torrent of nitric acid that erupts like a geyser into the air. The bright yellow cloud that follows spreads quickly, eating into the pavement and filling the air with toxic fumes. The driver, who had been standing dangerously close, disappears from view amid the cloud. For a few seconds, it looks as if the acid consumed him entirely. Many believed at first that he couldn't have survived such an explosion. By some miracle, no lives were lost. Multiple media outlets later confirmed that everyone in the vicinity escaped alive. If it weren't for official reports, you'd assumed you'd watched a man melt away before your eyes. But fate gave him a second chance that day, a rare moment where death missed by inches. Everyone knows that lighting a cigarette at a gas station is a recipe for disaster. It's the reason nearly every station on the planet is plastered with no smoking signs. But on May 22, 2023, in Gaziantep, Turkey, one driver decided those warnings didn't apply to him, and he paid a painful price for his mistake. Surveillance footage shows the man pulling up to the pump and calmly refueling his car with liquefied petroleum gas, LPG. Everything seems normal until he finishes filling the tank, gets back into the car, and does something unbelievably reckless. He lights a cigarette. Within seconds, the entire vehicle erupts in a violent explosion. Flames burst from the fuel port, racing under the car and up through the door. The shockwave blows debris into the air as the man stumbles out, engulfed in fire. Workers nearby immediately grab extinguishers and sprint toward the blaze. Thanks to their quick action, the inferno is smothered before it can spread to nearby pumps, a move that likely saved dozens of lives. The driver, though severely burned, was rushed to hospital and survived after treatment of second-degree burns. It's a terrifying yet crucial reminder. LPG is one of the most volatile fuels in existence. One careless flick of a lighter is all it takes to turn a quiet gas station into a fireball. In January 2005, UK tabloids began reporting on a street-level fad with a deceptively breezy name, Happy Slapping. There was nothing light about it. With camcorder phones newly common, groups, often adolescents and other young ones, ambushed strangers for a quick slap, filmed the shock, and circulated the clip for laughs and status. Copycat logic escalated the cruelty. Once a simple humiliation spread widely, the next cohort had to go harder to stand out. Slaps turned to beatings, pranks slid into felonies. The distinction from TV stunt shows of the era, think Jackass, Dirty Sanchez, was consent. Those were staged. This was assault. The moral injury of being randomly targeted in public was compounded by the permanent publication of the moment, a digital scar that never quite fades. The ugliest turn came on August 31, 2009, in South London when Akron Hake, 67, was attacked outside a mosque and later died from head trauma. CCTV led police to 2 teens who pled to manslaughter and served multi-year sentences. France went further, criminalizing not just the assault, but the filming and distribution of such violence, with penalties up to 5 years. Eventually, the phenomenon receded under sharper policing, school interventions, platform takedowns, and public disgust. But its template persists online. Court a violation, chase virality, offload the human cost onto someone who didn't consent to be content. The most sobering lesson is that a camera doesn't make cruelty less real, it just makes it portable and repeatable. This next clip's origin remains unclear. There's no exact location or verified timestamp, but the limited information available suggests it was recorded in February 2020, and the only written report found about it was in Russian. An old Douglas DC-4 aircraft approaches for landing. The crowd gathered nearby seems calm, unaware of how close they are to witnessing disaster. The plane descends lower and lower, skimming just feet above their heads. The air displacement alone would have been enough to knock someone off their feet. As it hits the runway, the landing gear collapses and the plane's underbelly scrapes violently along the ground, sending sparks flying. The people watching from the sidelines gasp, frozen in disbelief. Had they been standing just a few meters farther down, the plane might have plowed straight into them. There is no follow-up report detailing who the pilot was, what the cargo contained, or even what caused the malfunction. Just this eerie footage of a moment that could have ended in catastrophe. A routine landing turned into a terrifying close call. 34-year-old Michael, a rail welder in northern Italy, spent August 31, 2023 doing what he did most days, aligning steel, balancing track, and filming short clips for a modest TikTok audience that liked seeing sparks and workmanship up close. That afternoon, he photographed something he'd never seen before, a vivid red cruciform glow, right on the crown of a rail he'd just balanced, as if heat and light had etched a perfect cross into the metal. His caption was a confession and a plea. "First time this ever happened. God must be saying something. I've been calling him every day. It's been rough." Friends knew he was devout and under strain. The image felt like an omen, whether you believed in signs or not. He posted and went back to work, but that cross would not leave the mind easily. 24 hours later, the unthinkable happened.
An investigation's underway after 5 railway workers were killed by a speeding train in northern Italy. They were working on replacing parts of the track at the Brandizzo station near Turin when the locomotive slammed into.
Shortly after midnight on September 1, at Brandizzo station near Turin, a train barreled down the line at close to 160 kilometers per hour, 100 miles per hour, while a maintenance crew tended the track. The onrushing locomotive was reportedly unsignaled to the men on site until too late. In seconds, 5 of the 7 workers were killed, their bodies hurled across the right-of-way. The dead included Kevin Lagana, Giuseppe Caridio, Giuseppe Lombardo, Giuseppe Aversa, and Michael Cerruti, the same man who'd posted the burning cross. Investigators have framed it as a catastrophic coordination or a scheduling failure, an avoidable miscommunication in a system that has no margin for error. To those who saw Michael's post, the timing reads like a warning stamped in fire. To others, a cruel coincidence. Either way, his final upload wasn't just another work shot. It became the bookend to a life, faith, fatigue, and a photo that now looks like it was whispering "be careful" into a future no one could stop. The ocean is a way of lulling you into a false sense of peace. One moment it's calm, serene, and mesmerizing. The next, it reminds you that it's one of nature's most unforgiving forces. This was proven in a terrifying incident on December 20th, 2019, at Donny Dune Beach in Santa Cruz, California, where a peaceful stroll turned into a life-or-death struggle within seconds. Footage from that day shows a man casually making his way across a cluster of slick rocks near the shore. The sea behind him appears calm, almost harmless, Then out of nowhere, a towering wave rears up, far larger than anything in the preceding moments. Before the man can even turn around, the wave crashes down with brutal force, knocking him backward into the rocks. You can hear the impact before seeing his body vanished beneath the surge. The churning water drags him several feet out toward Monterey Bay, where the current is notoriously strong. Onlookers scream for help as the waves continue to batter the rocks. Seconds later, rescuers from the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, along with California State Parks officials, rush into action. They battle the surf and manage to pull the man to safety, soaked, shaken, and bloody, but somehow alive. Miraculously, he escapes with only minor injuries. The entire ordeal lasts barely 10 seconds, but those few moments deliver a brutal truth. The ocean doesn't give warnings. One peaceful glance can turn into a deadly strike. February 14, 2020, Parker Smith meets friends to film a jump challenge. He springs. The flanking pair sweeps his leg midair. He cartwheels back and fractures his arm. He was fortunate. The format, 2 on the sides, 1 in the middle, weaponizes surprise. As the center jumper rises, the accomplices kick at both ankles, removing any chance to plant a foot or tuck a shoulder. The result is an uncontrollable backfall where the first point of contact is often the skull. Viral origin clips reportedly came from Spain, then migrated through short video platforms. Imitators, including many young ones, leaked the choreography without grasping the stakes. Concussions, seizures, subdural bleeds, dental fractures, cervical injury. In Cherry Hill, New Jersey, January 24, 2020, a middle schooler lost consciousness and seized. Authorities arrested 2 13-year-olds for third-degree aggravated assault and endangering an injured victim. Platforms purged hashtags and search terms, but archival reposts and compilation channels kept resurfacing the pattern, and by late 2020, there were still prosecutions after new attempts. The danger isn't abstract physiology, it's mechanics. A backward fall from standing height onto a hard surface can generate head impact forces exceeding what helmets for many sports are rated to absorb. And in this prank, there is no helmet and no warning. If a challenge depends on ignorance to succeed, it isn't a game. It's a setup that transfers risk to the least informed person in the frame. YouTuber Zach Catch'em Fishing, chases pythons with the same energy he brings to big fish. But in June 23, 2022, he swaps swamps for an abandoned underground complex, a concrete maze of echoing corridors, vents, and black chambers that looked copied and pasted for miles.
Uh-oh. So, before I get too deep in here, I just want to let you all know I'm looking for snakes right now, for pythons. And honestly, I feel like I shouldn't be in here. Hello? Hello? Guys, it's really creepy in here, and it's really big. Hello? God, there's so much going on. Hello? Heck is him. That goes on forever.
Alone this time, he narrates to steady his nerves. Feels like I shouldn't be in here. Sounds ricochet off walls until it becomes its own camouflage.
This place is just never ending. It's like everything looks the same. All the walls are like the same color and stuff. And there's so many places like that the snakes can get through, like air vents and... Guys, this is honestly, like, this is spooky right now. What? What? Hello? Oh my God. Oh hell no. Oh hell no. Oh crap. The voices stopped. voices stopped, guys. What the? It could. I guess it could be someone. Dude.
Then the audio landscape changes, voices, not his, layering in from somewhere ahead.
Wish me luck, guys. I gotta shut off my light. I don't know what's going on.
He kills his light and holds still, counting seconds by breath for nearly 10 minutes as footsteps and muted conversation drift closer, then fade, then cease altogether. When he finally risks the beam again, he decides the python can wait, exit over curiosity. Only later in editing, he finds what his nerves had hinted at.
The heck? It's leaking outside from somewhere. What? Hello?
During a casual pan toward a notch rip, the camera catches a motionless figure in the next room, turned directly toward him. In real time, he didn't register it. His body did. It's the worst kind of discovery, proof that the feeling of being watched wasn't paranoia. In vast places like this, danger doesn't have to move fast, it just has to stand where you least expect and let you walk past. Security footage from a shop in Sichuan, China, dated March 2, 2022, captures a scene that unfolds in seconds but feels like slow motion. The shop owner, standing outside a small business in Panjiwa City, steps out for a brief moment of fresh air. He pulls out his phone to take a selfie, completely unaware that fate is seconds away from striking. As he turns toward the camera, a violent crash echoes in the background. A truck collides with a taxi at a nearby intersection, losing control and barreling straight toward him. The impact sends debris flying as the truck jumps the curb, heading directly for the man's storefront. The shop owner looked up just in time, throwing himself backward as the massive vehicle smashes through his business, missing him by mere inches. Inside the wreckage, both the truck driver and his passenger were pinned in the crushed cabin, trapped for nearly half an hour before emergency crews managed to cut them free. Against all odds, they survived. The store, however, was nearly destroyed, all because of a single moment of distraction, one innocent selfie that nearly became his last photograph. By late 2021, police in Milwaukee and beyond noticed a spike. Thefts of Hyundai and Kia models, roughly 2011 to 2021, were spiking by double and triple digits. The catalyst became clear after a July 12, 2022 viral how-to. Some trims lacked immobilizers. Once the steering column shroud was popped, a USB plug could turn the exposed ignition knob like a key. The platform removed the tutorial, but the exploit metastasized. What followed wasn't traditional auto theft for reseller parts. It was performance crime for likes. Self-titled crews recorded break-ins, donuts, sidewalks, slaloms, and wrong-way runs. The risk curve bent violently upward, terrified pedestrians, T-bone collisions, and rollovers with unbelted occupants, often youngsters, thrown from the cabin. In Buffalo, October 2022, a stolen Kia crashed, killing 4 teens. Nationwide, at least 8 deaths were tied to copycat joyrides. Civil fallout came next, a $200 million settlement addressing the owner's losses in software or hardware mitigations, updates, steering wheel locks, aftermarket kits. But software patches can't fix reckless incentives. As long as notoriety is a currency, some will try to buy it with borrowed danger. The sober countermeasure isn't only technical, it's cultural, shifting what we celebrate and refusing to turn neighborhoods into reels of collateral damage. Two seasoned explorers, Kenneth and Justin, moved through the skeletal remains of an old paper mill in Austin, Pennsylvania, a place locals whisper about like a warning label. They've done 100 dead sites, but this one demands slower steps, soft floors, line shafts, and the heavier hazard stories. Residents talk about unseen movement, cold spots, and a presence that trails you just outside the frame.
The paper mill's haunted as shit, because I went there the one night, me and my buddies. We all went over there, and we were drinking a little bit, but
yeah,
my buddy caught it on camera that like something ran behind us.
No kidding.
On Snapchat, like he caught it on camera and everything.
One guy swears he caught something sprinting behind his group on Snapchat. They'd been drinking, sure, but the clip lived on. The pair ignore the folklore and drop beneath the main structure into a concrete void veined with pipes and runoff. Their lights rake the ground. Bone, not scrap wood, not rebar. A bone, pale, unmistakable. Before they can square that, a voice, small, close, and disembodied, slips out of the dark like a whisper into your ear. Instinct detonates. Both men break for open air, tripping over each other to get daylight and distance.
I want to get that lower, closer down here.
There's a bone on the beaver dam there. Good.
Holy shit.
See it right there?
What is it?
A bone.
Bone. I don't see it. Oh, it is. What the f***? Holy smokes. What was that? Hello? Yep, get the f out of there! Whoa!
Yep, no more of that.
Did you hear that?
Oh yeah.
What was
I
that?
have no idea.
If it truly belonged to a youngster, what on earth were they hearing below an abandoned mill? And if it wasn't, what mimics a youngster that well? They finish the sweep on autopilot, nerves frayed, and leaves with more questions than footage. One certainty, neither is eager to test whether that voice answers twice. In May of 2019, a massive tropical cyclone tore through eastern India and residents of Bhubaneswar captured what it left behind. The storm known as Cyclone Fani was one of the strongest ever recorded in the region, the wind speeds reaching 175 miles per hour, equivalent to a Category 5 hurricane. In this footage, the camera focuses on a construction crane towering above the city's skyline. The wind soared like a freight train. Then, without warning, the crane begins to sway violently. The steel structure twists, bends, and then collapses in a horrifying chain reaction, crashing down directly onto nearby homes. There's no clear record of whether anyone was inside the houses when the crane fell, but most believe residents were sheltering indoors when the storm struck. The sheer force of the cyclone was unlike anything locals had ever seen. Cars tossed like toys, trees uprooted, and entire streets submerged underwater. It was nature at its most unforgiving, and this footage is a haunting reminder of just how fragile man-made structures truly are when the earth decides to strike back. Decades before viral apps, car surfing had a subcultural pull. Right outside the vehicle on a roof, hood, or window frame, while a friend keeps it steady. Modern design has made it even deadlier. Sleek bodywork leaves few handholds. Electronic throttles respond instantly, and stability control can produce abrupt corrective yaw the rider doesn't anticipate. The physics are blunt. At 30 miles per hour, 48 kilometers per hour, a fall to asphalt is kinematically akin to dropping from a third-story window. A 2008 CDC review counted 58 deaths and 41 severe injuries since 1990. Social media has only widened the funnel of imitation. In May 2023, a 16-year-old riding out back window died when the driver lost control and rolled. A seatbelt in the seat would almost certainly have saved him. Why does it persist? Because the footage looks effortless, right up until the moment it doesn't. It's also deceptively hard to coordinate. A driver's instinctive corrections, a pothole, a gust, or a slight brake tap can instantaneously turn grip to air. The most experienced car surfers are simply the ones whose luck hasn't run out yet. Some jobs test human endurance, but few compare to what sailors face at sea. This anonymous video with no date or location attached shows the terrifying reality of ocean navigation during a storm. Waves tower like walls, rising dozens of feet into the air. A massive freight ship, nearly 1,000 feet long, looks like a toy amid the raging waters. Each time it climbs a wave, the vessel tilts upward, balancing on the edge of the abyss. Then it plummets downward, slamming into the next swell with bone-shaking force. The sound of the hull cracking under the stress echoes through the footage. To those with thalassophobia, the fear of deep, endless oceans, this video is pure nightmare fuel. But even for those without it, it's hard not to feel small watching something so powerful and uncontrollable. Out there, far from land, the sea decides everything, and survival is never guaranteed. Russian urban explorers Alex and friends pick their way through a rotting hotel, upper floors chewed by weather and time. The basement is different, drier, intact, livable. That's the tell they miss until it's nearly too late. Footsteps, not their own, clip through the dark. Stop, start again.
Ребята, это шаги сейчас.
Прям в ту сторону шаги.
Если кто-то шутит, то мне не смешно.
А кто шутит?
Ты,
Я
Юрис.
просто не понимаю, кому...
Алло, ребят, тут кто-то есть? Народ!
As they shoulder gear to leave, a squatter lunges from the blind side with a knife, angling them into a choke point between pillars and utility walls. Panic is useless in a grid like this. You can't sprint through corners you don't know. The cameraman produces a non-lethal pistol, no stopping power against a determined assault, but enough to reset the psychology in a cramped corridor where distance equals survival.
Камеру быстро! Быстро, сука, опусти свет! Опусти, сука!
Так, стоп, мужик.
Опусти свет! Быстро, блядь! Кто такие,
Ну, мы снимаем здесь.
Чё, ну, блядь?
Для ютуба.
Кто такие, я тебя спрашиваю?
Просто, мужик, успокойся, просто снимаем.
Чё ты просто, блядь? Камеру, сука, положил сюда быстро!
Все, ничего.
Слышь, положил, я сказал, на землю.
Ладно, Сань, положи камеру.
О, ты понял, что,
Окей,
блядь?
всё.
Нет. Кто такие, что деретесь? А?
Просто снимаем видео, просто
Да хуй видео, блядь.
Видео будем по заброшке снимать.
Где уж мне, да? Выключи фонарь, не свети мне, понял?
А в чем проблема?
В смысле, в чем проблема? Че сюда припёс? Вы знаете вообще, чья это территория?
Чья?
Моя, нахуй, моя территория, хуй, стретесь. А?
Ну, приехали, поснимали, в чем проблема? Мы уйти можем.
Уйти вы
без
просто
проблем.
так можете. Ща. О, сука. Че за пукалка, блядь, а? Че ты, убери,
Кунсу убери, нож положи свой.
а, сучи. Опусти камеру.
Не убери камеру.
Камеру, положи камеру. Мужик, алло, послушай, все, давай мы успокоимся. Мы сейчас просто смали, и проблем нам никаких не нужно.
Проблемы. Сейчас у вас проблемы будут.
Какие у нас проблемы? Ну давай, подойди, устрой проблемы мне.
А, сука.
Если нужно, наложим на лицо маску, все, что хочешь. Тебя не видно будет.
Если я, сука, слушай меня, блядь. А? Устроили тут мне, сука, блядь. Если я увижу где-то запись, я вам, сука, понятно, тварь?
Так, успокойся.
Поняли меня?
Успокоился, мужик.
Все, съебались нахуй отсюда, быстро забрали все, съебали, поняли? Убери руку, нахуй.
Куда убери руку?
Давай,
С ножом стоит тут.
The man hesitates. The crew seizes the only open vector, retreating in a staggered peel. One backs, one covers, one pulls cables. They clear the stairs, make asphalt, and keep moving until the hotel is a silhouette. The footage, jittery and raw, isn't proof of bravery so much as a lesson. In abandoned places, nobody lives here is an assumption, and assumptions are what get you cornered. A clip from Yemen shows a late-night customer who doesn't read like a customer. The shop's CCTV captures a woman whose complexion is chalk pale, posture slightly off-axis as if her balance lags behind her steps. Her hand fans through the frame with joints bending a beat later than the motion. Uncanny valley territory. Mid-sentence, her voice shifts timbre, like a second speaker wearing the first. She cycles a phrase, "Who passed away?" with a cadence that ignores the owner's replies, as though she's reciting rather than conversing.
خلاص ولا حاجة طيب حالك حوامك من مات عليك ها؟ من مات عليك ولا واحد حوامك ما عاد اشتغل ما عاد مزوج يا والله ما طيب طيب
Internet lore piles on. Some swear her feet look wrong in certain frames. The compression muddies it. What survives even at low resolution is the behavioral mismatch. Flat affect, disjointed micro movements, and that vocal change snapping the hair on your arms to attention. Rational boxes exist. Medical crisis, intoxication, dissociation. Another box exists too. The one people label when none of the others feel like they fit. The tape won't choose for you. It only hands you an encounter that lingers after the lights go out. In July 2024, only hours before this clip was uploaded, a Ukrainian drone strike targeted one of Russia's largest oil refineries on the Black Sea. The footage shows the moment of impact, a massive explosion lighting up the night sky as thick black smoke rises above the industrial complex. Reports later confirmed that over 75 drones were launched toward the facility, though most were intercepted before reaching their target. This one, however, slipped through. The fire that followed burned for hours, visible for miles. The rise of drone warfare has changed modern combat forever. Some of the most disturbing footage circulating online now shows drones hovering silently over soldiers before detonating, moments of terror that rarely make it to public compilations. This video, though far less graphic, still captures the chilling reality of how precise and relentless unmanned warfare has become. Long before it reappeared on short video feeds, the so-called blackout or pass-out game preyed on a basic misconception that brief self-induced hypoxia is a controllable buzz with no lasting cost. In reality, the high is the brain's distress signal as oxygen tension plummets. Neurons are voracious. Deny them oxygen for seconds and you risk seizures, arrhythmias, and hypoxic injury. A past analysis, 1995 to 2007, linked 82 deaths, overwhelmingly among 6 to 19-year-olds, young ones pushed by curiosity dares or the false safety of doing it at home. Recent tragedies amplify the warning. Nyla Anderson, 10 in Pennsylvania, was found unresponsive on December 7, 2021 and died 5 days later. In the UK, Archie Battersby, 12, suffered catastrophic brain injury in April 2022 and later passed. Platforms have tried to choke off hashtags and search paths, but the challenge persists through re-uploads in coded language. The most chilling aspect is the illusion of control. Once consciousness slips, gravity and chance take over. There's no way to tap out, and no guarantee someone nearby will even realize it's not a prank. If you're a parent or caregiver, speak plainly about oxygen deprivation. If you're a mentor or teacher, demystify it in health class. And if you're a creator, don't platform content that glamorizes suffocation. The brain does not forgive experiments made for views. Explorers Me and Chris slipped through an open side window of a long-neglected gay farmhouse. Leaf-littered floors, cobweb veils, dead wildlife, shotgun shells on a nightstand, and curiously, a single Newer bulb wired into a bedroom. Photos on walls show a family with at least 4 children once called this place home. Then the scene tilts. In an upstairs room, under a thin runner carpet, a sleeping voice answers their noise.
Look in that wardrobe.
I'll just squeeze in front of you. Can I help you?
Oh my god! Fucking hell! You're alive!
You are?
No, man.
You live in here. You can't live in here. Yeah?
No!
We can't.
We thought it was abandoned. We thought it was abandoned.
You can't live in here.
Holy shit! Are you okay?
Devoken Chain, elderly and soft-spoken. Startled apologies turn into conversation on camera. She says there's nowhere else, no relatives, and that local farm workers bring food and water. She chooses to remain. The pair listen, offer help, and promise to return. After posting, they dig. An informant claims Jane cohabited with a farmer and that her husband checked on her. Records suggest a property once in her name, 1986 to 2015, now derelict as well. The farm itself doesn't surface in the land registry. Adult Social Services reply that they're aware of her but can't disclose more.
Window that's open downstairs.
Window open?
Yeah.
It's an open window. What we do,
We do
take
videos on.
pictures of like old farmhouses because we're really interested in it. Oh.
We thought it was abandoned because of this.
No. You live in here.
Oh
How
no.
can you live in here? Is there no way you can go and look at it? Do you not think?
2 competing narratives remain: self-chosen isolation with a support net, or a fragile life held together by habit and the kindness of whoever passes. The only certainty is grim. For the next explorer squeezing that same window, the house may answer back. A YouTube presence named Dan Silly turns public sidewalks into a hunting ground and uploads the footage. His first long video, 3.5 hours, titled "I Will Grab Women Soon," documents him roaming Los Angeles, filming strangers without consent, raiding bodies, zooming on private areas, and narrating entitlement as if it were philosophy.
There's a woman up here that's like 30-something, 32 or more. Her trying to speed up so I can get an image. Her hips were narrow, not wide, you know, I mean, that's the catch, right? Sitting by herself, I could have said, hey, she just looked Asian, an over chubby Asian, you know.
The on-camera talk is vile enough, but the description underneath is worse. Promises to grab, plaints about consent, rules for a hypothetical partner. No caffeine, no dairy, no wheat, no social media, must want pregnancy. And a finale boasting he'll soon post explicit proof of conquest.
The place is too safe with police. In other countries, it's way less safe. In order to get a bodyguard man, you know, that will protect you, you need to be a good woman. You need to act well. But in here the women don't need to act well, so therefore they're disgusting. Looking around, looking for what I want. I'm shopping for what I want to do. I'm shopping for food. I'm shopping for sex. Okay, this is not bad.
Subsequent uploads escalate. He approaches women with the camera already rolling. "I saw you, I want to kiss you," then argues that consent is a myth when they object and tries to keep filming after clear refusals.
Why are you ignoring me? Why exactly are you being, like, tired of being sexualized? Like, isn't it good to, like, be valued? I can't run or something? Hi, how's it going? How are you? Okay. Why not?
Because we don't give you consent.
You don't have to. I mean, I don't need consent. Right? That's a myth.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Security?
Many targets appear very young. Commenters repeatedly warn that some look like minors. The context is not abstract. Public records identify Daniel Patrick Silly as a registered sex offender, arrested in 2017 for sexually harassing a minor. After a quiet period, he reemerges under new channels, pushing titles like 15-year-old white girl served me food. I saw 14-year-olds fooling around it. How to marry a 14-year-old girl. It is predatory fixation disguised as content, the camera serving both as a weapon and confession. Could mental illness be involved? Possibly, and acknowledging that doesn't dilute the danger or the ongoing targeting of women and potentially underage girls.
You feel like freaking like destroying these women when I accost them. My reptilian brain literally feels like attacking these women. Just strangling them and stuff, honestly. And making them submit to me. I feel like these women, seriously.
Feeding him engagement only validates the delusion. The larger alarm bell is structural. How easily material with stalking, boundary violations, and sexualized attention toward apparent minors can slip past filters and persist in recommendation systems. There's no clever twist here, just a public continuous risk profile that treats other people's safety as backdrop. Captured in Telluride, Colorado in 2021, this dashcam footage documents a horrifying accident on the Black Bear Pass, one of the most dangerous mountain roads in the United States. The 22-year-old driver of a Jeep Wrangler had stopped momentarily, shutting off the engine and setting the emergency brake, but moments later, the vehicle began to move, slowly at first, then faster. As gravity took hold, the driver lunged to regain control, but the Jeep slipped over the edge of a narrow path. A 23-year-old passenger, a woman seated beside him, was violently ejected as the vehicle rolled down the slope. She suffered major injuries, but against all odds survived. The driver was thrown clear just before the Jeep slammed into the rocks below. Onlookers could only watch helplessly as tons of steel and glass tumbled down the mountainside. It's a stark reminder that one small oversight, one unsteady parking brake, can mean the difference between a scenic drive and a brush with death in the wilderness. A mud-streaked SD card found in 2022 beneath Forest Leaf Duff holds video from May 2014. Two teenagers roam a graffiti-caked hideout. One paints over tags while the other films the ritual of trespass. A sound interrupts. Small at first, it kind of gets you laughing at yourself.
It's weird.
You got your check.
Yeah.
Wait, do you want to keep this or should I take it with me?
Oh, let me keep it. Some nice graffiti.
Then it comes again, nearer, wrong. They sweep the entry, see nothing, relax until a masked figure fills the doorway and charges. The camera breaks the fall as the boy hits concrete. The image tumbles, static buzzes like hornets.
What? What the hell?
When the feed reorients, he is running, dropping the device in the scramble through trees. Minutes later, voices collide. The pair reunite and vanish between trunks. Why the attack? Why the mask? The footage doesn't explain, it documents. In a sterile OR used for teaching, Surgeon Tiffany films a straight-laced tutorial on sutures. Zero ghost content, zero theatrics when her focus fractures.
Cat gut. The difference is, I'm so sorry, my brain. Okay, here we go, back. Okay. So here we have two different kinds of sutures, polypropylene, monofilament, and chromic cat gut. The difference between these two is that this one is dissolvable and it's animal derived. And the sutures last anywhere from 60 to 90 days. Literally tearing up right now. I saw it.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. Can you please just show yourself? Just give me a sign. Do whatever you want.
Past the window, something dark clips through her peripheral vision and is gone. You can hear the change in her breath. She asks for a sign, the sort of dare people regret, and the building answers in a small way. Shifts, taps, the sense accompanied with no chart. Colleagues have their own tales. Shadow forms along the women's restroom and odd acoustics by the automatic doors. Reviewing the footage, a figure streaks past those doors in a blink, too fast for identification, just fast enough to stick in your head. Hospitals are machines of life and loss. They collect stories like dust. Was it a staffer sliding out of frame, a trick of reflective glass, or something that thrives in liminal spaces between here and gone? Tiffany posts not to scare her students, but because the tape won't stop tapping on the inside of her thoughts. In a place built to fix bodies, she filmed something she can't stitch to a name. The combination of water and oil might not sound dangerous at first, but when heat enters the equation, it can become one of the most violent chemical reactions you'll ever witness. Many people underestimate this risk, thinking a splash of water can calm down an oil fire, when in reality, it can instantly turn a small kitchen blaze into a roaring inferno. This particular video, filmed on February 7th, 2023 in Brazil, captures the horrifying moment someone learned that lesson the hard way. A pan of oil had overheated on the stove, the surface already shimmering with that faint dangerous glint that signals combustion is seconds away. Then, as the flames began to rise, someone panicked and threw water onto the burning pan. What follows is almost instantaneous, a deafening explosion of flame, erupting several feet high, engulfing the entire kitchen in a burst of fire and smoke. The sudden temperature shock forces the water to vaporize, turning to steam that propels droplets of burning oil outward like molten shrapnel. In less than a second, what could have been a controllable flare-up becomes a wall of fire licking the ceiling. The good news is that the people in the clip survived, but the footage serves as a critical warning. If you ever face an oil fire, never reach for water. Instead, immediately cut off the heat source and cover the pan with a lid or a damp cloth to suffocate flames. This single choice can mean the difference between a close call and a disaster that consumes your entire home. If there's one clip that defines pure chaos, this might be it. It's hard to even process what unfolds here. Two men caught outside in the middle of an unforgiving storm, laughing, shouting, and treating it like an adventure. But within seconds, they realize just how wrong they are.
corre para acá. Weón. Mira el árbol. No. El auto. Bueno, deme esta weá. Espera. Mira.
The storm's power grows more violent. Trees begin snapping, bending like twigs under the force of the wind. Sparks burst from electrical lines as branches crash down onto power poles. The air glows with flashes of blue and orange as electricity surges through the wreckage. You can hear one of the men panic, yelling as the noise of crackling and crashing fills the air. The cameraman, somehow managing to keep filming, captures it all. Lightning bolts splitting the sky, power lines whipping like snakes, and debris flying through the storm. It's both mesmerizing and terrifying. By the end, both men are heard breathing heavily, laughing nervously through their shock. Somehow they make it out alive, but judging by how close those power lines came to falling, it's a miracle they weren't struck down where they stood. This disturbing clip was recorded by a man who goes by @KG79, reportedly from Texas, and posted to social media shortly after a tornado ripped through his town. The footage begins inside an office building as staff tries to make sense of the chaos outside. At first, you can hear the wind howling, but then things escalate, and fast.
Don't get out of there. Jesus. Oh yeah, we should probably go downstairs. Hey. Downstairs. Downstairs. Holy moly!
The glass doors begin to bend inward under the immense pressure. Loose papers and debris are sucked toward the entrance as the tornado draws closer. Someone in the background yells to get downstairs as objects begin slamming against the walls. Then the impossible happens. The heavy metal doors suddenly swing in reverse, twisting like rubber. A rug from the lobby lifts off the ground and flies across the room, knocking people to the floor. The sound of roaring wind is deafening, mixed with the creaking of bending steel. When the clip was shared online, commenters were baffled by how casually everyone reacted at first. Some even pointed out that no one seemed to have a survival instinct until the moment the windows started imploding. Luckily, the group made it out unharmed, but it's a haunting reminder nature gives you no warning when it's ready to strike. Taylor Scrown built a TikTok lane around motorcycles, gear talk, memes, and the thrill of speed from a woman rider who broke stereotype by simply riding well and often. Over time, the clips leaned harder into risk. Lane splitting at pace, tight weaves, moves the platform, started tagging with safety disclaimers about severe injury or death. Fans split. Some cheered the skill, others begged caution, but the persona marched on, fearless, invulnerable, tomorrow guaranteed. On May 23, 2023, northbound on I-95 in Flagler County, Florida, she rode with 4 others. In seconds, the pack destabilized. Wobble, touch, chain reaction. Bodies and bikes separated. An SUV behind them had no stopping distance and ran over multiple riders, Taylor included. Paramedics found 2 already gone. A 29-year-old man and Taylor, 22, pronounced at the scene. The most haunting echo is timing. The crash arrived 1 day after her final post, celebrating the road she loved. Her arc now anchors a familiar debate where confidence ends and recklessness begins, how attention economies reward escalation, and how a single bad second can erase all your previous good ones. She wasn't faking the joy. The asphalt wasn't faking the consequences. The road always wins the argument you start at speed.
What the going on?
Inside a Canadian airport bar, a lone reveler decides the countertop is a stage and clothing is optional. He clambers up, strips down, and starts working the room like it's closing night at a chaotic cabaret. Hips swaying, arms windmilling, zero regard for the shocked travelers clutching carry-ons. Whether it's alcohol, something stronger, or a cocktail of both fueling him, the man is fully committed to the bit. He mugs for the cameras, hypes the room, and treats the bar top like a catwalk. Staff tried to corral the energy without escalating it, and the patrons nearest the splash zone do the cautious half laugh you hear when fun can tip to danger. Meanwhile, a cluster of women behind the bar can't help cracking up at the absurdity. In part relief, in part disbelief. Airports are where schedules rule and security is king. This is the opposite, an impulsive, rule-free improv routine. The surreal juxtaposition, boarding calls in the distance while a naked dancer hits an imaginary drop, turns a layover into folklore. It's goofy, yes, but also risky. Wet glassware, slick counters, and a hard floor beneath. He's lucky it ends as public indecency theater rather than a head injury with paperwork attached. This next video can be summed up with one word: ironic. Captured on July 16, 2024, it features the massive LNG-fueled cargo vessel Echo, a bulk carrier designed to transport liquefied natural gas across international waters. The ship was known for its state-of-the-art engineering and, ironically, for its enormous slogan painted across the hull: "Safety first." But that slogan didn't age well. The Echo experienced a mechanical failure mid-journey, specifically a loss of main engine propulsion, rendering it completely uncontrollable. With no steering and thousands of tons of momentum, the vessel began drifting straight toward another anchored ship, the YM Serenity. The sound of metal scraping against metal echoes as the two ships collide. The impact sends shockwaves through the water, and alarms blare across both decks. Crew members shout commands, scrambling to secure lines and assess the damage. The entire scene feels surreal. Two colossal ships colliding in slow motion, all while the phrase "safety first" stares mockingly across the camera frame. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, but it's hard to ignore the irony. A vessel built for safety, defeated by its own mechanical failure in open waters.
Ja, wir haben es tatsächlich auf uns genommen.
Love Parade 2010 in Duisburg was supposed to be a triumphant return of a mega festival that had once drawn 1.6 million. Instead, it became a case study in how crowd dynamics kill when design fails. The site, a former rail yard, offered limited ingress. Authorities funneled attendees through a long tunnel onto a single main ramp that perversely functioned as both entrance and exit. A secondary ramp existed but could not carry the load. As capacity hit its ceiling, police erected barricades to block more entries, while fresh waves kept arriving unaware. People inside simultaneously tried to leave along the same choke point when some barricades were pulled to relieve pressure, but a final barrier remained at the ramp's end. Flows collided. The result, a compressive asphyxia event. Not a stampede, but bodies packed so tightly that rib cages couldn't expand. Heat spiked and collapse propagated like a domino wave. Footage from phones and CCTV shows the horror plainly. Attendees climbing walls, others lifted overhead, medics working on limp forms amid a sea of helpless faces. 21 died, 652 were injured. Afterward came the blame carousel. Venue too small, flow planning miscalculated, barricade logic contradictory. The mayor faced fury and was later impeached. Organizers and police traded statements. No criminal conviction stuck. The festival never returned. The physics doesn't care about permits. One ramp, 3 directions, rising density. No escape path. The math concludes itself. Crowds are systems. Mismanage the system, and the system takes life. Barcelona's Gothic quarter is built for wandering. Narrow lanes, stone underfoot, balconies overhead. It's not built for a man sprinting through with a machete raised at shoulder height. The clip opens on confusion, tourists flattening to walls, locals yanking friends back as the blade-flashing runner cuts through like a bad dream. He isn't swinging wildly so much as owning space with steel, which is enough to send shockwaves of fear down every side street. One passerby suffers a head puncture, classified later as minor, but minor doesn't capture the dread of seeing someone jabbed in a district known for street musicians and late-night tapas. The camera jitters as the filmer keeps distance, capturing the clatter of pursuit and shouted warnings in overlapping languages. Police responses tightens the net. Sirens ricochet off stone, officers flood choke points, and the man's random tyranny ends with a hard takedown. After the arrest, the lane exhales. Bystanders reappear, phones up, the adrenaline come down, turning to incredulous laughter and post-mortem storytelling. The machete, once a silhouette of menace, is now inert in an evidence bag. It was a normal day at the train tracks before the shocking incident occurred. In a chilling reminder of how quickly a peaceful vacation can turn into a nightmare, a 55-year-old tourist named Louis was struck by a train from the Alishan Forest Railway in Chiayi, Taiwan on December 14, 2024. The impact occurred as a scenic train wound its way through the lush mountain terrain, an area famous for its breathtaking views, but also for its strict safety zones meant to keep visitors away from the tracks. According to reports, Louis and her tour group had ventured into a restricted section of the railway to take photos, ignoring multiple warning signs posted nearby. As the train rounded a bend, the operator suddenly spotted the group on the tracks. He slammed on the brakes and blasted the horn, but it was too late. Louis was hit by the front of the train and thrown to the side of the tracks. The conductor immediately halted the train and rushed to her aid. Miraculously, Louis was still conscious, suffering a severe injury to her left foot, but otherwise alive. Paramedics quickly arrived and transported her to a nearby hospital for treatment. Police later confirmed that the group had violated multiple railway safety regulations, prompting an investigation into both the tourists and the travel agency that organized the trip. The Forestry and Nature Conservation Agency subsequently banned the Dream Travel Agency, the company responsible for the tour, from entering Alishan's MYUU line for an entire year. In addition to the ban, Louis herself was fined, with the penalty reportedly ranging from $37 to as much as $1,538 USD, depending on the final legal determination. Though she survived, the opportunity can lead to consequences that last a lifetime. France, June 2022. Blue skies, warm light, and the gentle hum of rotors lifting off from Perigueux airfield. And then everything goes violently wrong. Moments after takeoff, a helicopter with a 65-year-old pilot and a 70-year-old passenger begins to yaw and spin. The tail swings wide, the horizon corkscrews. What should be a routine climb turns into a sickening spiral from just a few hundred feet up. You can hear the engine strain as the pilot fights the rotation, stabbing pedals, feathering the collective, searching for any bite of air that'll steady the disc. The ground rushes closer, fast. Then, with seconds to spare, you see the nose dip and the spin dampen. The pilot wrings out the last lever control, dumping energy to bleed off descent speed and planting the skids into the field with a bone-rattling thud instead of a lethal slam. It's still a crash. Metal flexes, dirt erupts, but against all odds, it's a survivable one. A textbook example of airmanship under pressure. When the machine refuses to fly what's left of it. The Stapleton Channel opens like a scrapbook. 2008 family outings, a toddler named Ainsley, big brother McEwen, parents Matt and Kelly, and a daughter Isabel, Izzy. It reads wholesome because it was. on camera. In 2010, a final early clip, mom and autistic daughter finally dance together, reveals Izzy's autism and a milestone moment. Then silence. 3 years missing from the feed. When uploads resume in 2013, the tone is shattered. A 28-second video titled Typical Day appears to show an assault in progress, and Kelly's description bluntly details hair pulling and hits from Izzy during agitation. Blog posts add hospital visits, photos of bruising, escalating behavior, and residential placement where outbursts continue. Money drains, options narrow, and fear roots in the house. A news piece captures Kelly predicting she's gonna kill me. The final video, Nightly Prayers, is short, quiet, and misleadingly hopeful.
Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love entrust me here. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
7 months later, September 3, 2013, Kelly invites Izzy camping. They drive to rural Benzie County. After s'mores and a calm evening, Kelly places 2 charcoal stoves in the van, lights them, seals the doors and windows, and texts a goodbye. It's a planned murder-suicide by carbon monoxide. Responders reach them in time, both alive but poisoned. Izzy slips into a coma, then survives with limited lasting injury. Kelly is arrested, later imprisoned. The aftermath is almost as disturbing as the act. Common threads fill with sympathy for the mother, and dehumanization of Izzy calls to put that animal up. Specialists later note the family's chosen therapy track can increase agitation. In other avenues, different medications, structured group care, crisis respite remain. None excuse violence. None erase caregiver burnout either. What the channel preserves is a slow tonal collapse, from singing and day trips to fear, isolation, and an unforgivable decision. It's a reminder that curated warmth can hide untenable pressure, and that a vulnerable young one needed better systems, not a sealed van. Guayaquil, Ecuador, August 1, 2023. Dashcam rolling. A couple is crawling through light congestion on the coastal road, chatting, shoulders relaxed. Then, without warning, 2 armed men materialize at the driver's window. One yanks at the handle, the other postures with a weapon, barking threats over the drone of idling traffic.
No, nada, no les di nada, mi amor, nada. Bien, me puta, ¿por qué no se bien?
The driver locks rigid, hands glued to the wheel, eyes wide, a full freeze response. From the passenger seat, the woman snaps into action, voice cutting through the panic. Go, gas, now. She repeats it, sharper each time, trying to break the trance. The road ahead opens for a heartbeat. This is the window. The driver hesitates, half press on the pedal, then commits. Tires chirp, bumper skims the next car, and the sedan shoots forward. In the mirror, 2 figures retreating. Off balance, opportunity lost. No shots, no smashed glass, no property taken. It's over in seconds, but you can feel the adrenaline in how long their breathing stays ragged afterward. Sometimes survival isn't a fight, it's a decisive escape. A grandfather is mid-repair on a roof edge when gravity files an urgent request. A ladder skates out, clatters to the ground, and the old man snaps both hands to the fascia like he is catching a pull-up bar in a gym he didn't mean to visit. Now he's dangling, cord tight, arms trembling, while 2 small young ones scramble below to fix the problem. He tries to coach them through ladder reassembly with a calm tone of a weekend handyman, but urgency leaks into every syllable. They wrestle aluminum, can't find the right angle, and keep drifting under his drop zone. Every adult viewer's blood pressure spikes.
Kéo chân ngoài ra. Đây, kéo ra.
Time stretches. The man's forearms are volcanic. They finally jam together a wobbling step contraption that might qualify as ladder-like, then promptly drop it, missing his feet by inches. With no elegant option left, Grandpa goes full ninja, swinging a knee to the wall, towing a tiny ledge and corkscrewing down like a parkour clip performed in slow motion. The takeaways: tie off your ladder, spot your elders, and never underestimate what adrenaline can make a seasoned body do. Taiwan earthquake, April 2024, magnitude 7.4. The dashcam catches an ordinary mountain drive that detonates into chaos. At first, it's subtle, a shimmy in the camera, a dust whisper curling off the cliff. Then the hillside fractures. Chunks become boulders. Boulders become an avalanche. A massive slab shears loose in scythes across the lanes, missing the lead vehicle by meters. Another rock spears down and clips a car, shoving it sideways as the driver instinctively cranks the wheel and dives for the shoulder. The dash car's driver threads a slalom through a rain of stone, engine howling, gravel ricocheting off the undercarriage. When the rumble finally subsides, the roadway looks like a quarry exploded in place. Shattered asphalt, powdered earth, a jigsaw of stranded vehicles. And yet, by official tallies from this specific corridor, injuries are minor. That's a knife edge of quick country. 1 lane over, 1 second later, and this is a very different video. This clip is pure frustration distilled into video form. It shows Robert Price, a 76-year-old man from a quiet neighborhood whose final months were marked by relentless torment from local troublemakers. For weeks, these teens harassed him, throwing rocks, yelling insults, banging on his doors, and he eventually boarded up his windows for some measure of peace. But the torment didn't stop. In this footage, the group sneaks up to his home in the middle of the night and decides to light fireworks through one of the boarded up openings. The moment the sparks hit the curtains, the camera catches the flash that would change everything. Flames bloom inside, lighting the interior like a lantern while laughter echoes in the background. Within minutes, the house is engulfed, and by the time firefighters arrive, Robert Price is gone. What began as a cruel prank ends as manslaughter. The sheer disregard on display is sickening. A man pushed into isolation, terrorized for amusement, and killed by the same mockery he tried to wall himself against. The clip is difficult to watch, not just for what happens, but for what it says about indifference, cruelty without purpose, captured on camera like it's entertainment. Another storefront becomes a drive-through the architect didn't design. The year 2025 has proven to be one filled with unusual aviation incidents, from mid-air malfunctions to startling near misses, each serving as a sobering reminder that even in an age of cutting-edge technology and rigorous safety systems, the skies are never completely predictable.
¿Van de regreso? ¿Yo arranco de aquí, va? Sí. ¿Van de regreso?
Van dando la vuelta.
¿Van de regreso, sí? ¿Para aterrizar al aeropuerto aquí?
No, pero si siguió que allá se jodió.
Pero se dan cuenta ellos, pues.
This particular case unfolded on March 1st. when FedEx Flight 3609 found itself in serious danger only moments after takeoff. The cargo jet, en route to its next destination, was climbing out of Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey when disaster suddenly struck. A flock of birds collided with one of its engines, and within seconds, flames began to spew from the right side of the aircraft. Passengers and ground crews could see the fiery trail streaking across the sky. Air traffic control immediately cleared the runway for an emergency return, while the pilots, trained for situations like this, remained remarkably calm. The captain radioed in, clearing a mayday and preparing to bring the aircraft back down as the engine burned. Video captured from nearby witnesses shows the aircraft descending with one engine visibly on fire, smoke billowing behind it. But thanks to quick decision-making, flawless coordination, and years of practiced emergency procedures, the pilots managed to land the plane safely, bringing it to a stop on the tarmac as emergency vehicles swarmed in. Fire crews rushed to extinguish the flames, successfully containing the blaze before it could spread. Incredibly, no one on board was injured, and the aircraft sustained only minor damage to one engine. While incidents like this can appear terrifying, experts emphasize that aviation remains one of the safest forms of travel on Earth. Every commercial pilot trains for thousands of hours in simulations just like this. The redundancy of modern aircraft systems, combined with strict maintenance standards and immediate emergency response, ensures that even when the unexpected happens, human skill and preparation often turn potential disasters into survivable close calls. Rabat, Morocco, December 26, 2024. One rideshare driver, a cluster of taxi drivers, in a turf war that explodes in broad daylight. Phones are out filming as multiple taxis box in a single Uber. Doors fly open, men rush the car, and the scene devolves into a messy scrum. Shoving, shouting, hands on the hood. A horn blares and a panic maneuver triggers the next disaster. A fender snaps sideways. A mirror shatters, and a nearby vehicle gets clipped, sending pedestrians scrambling to the sidewalk. The crowd roars, some egging it on, others yelling to stop. It's the worst kind of street theater. Rage plus steel plus zero control. Police respond quickly, detain the taxi drivers, and cite the chaos as endangering the public. All this because an app diverted fares from the curb to the screen. It's a stark reminder, economic flights can turn physical fast, especially when wheels are the weapons. Los Angeles buses are rolling microcosms. Commuters, tourists, regulars, and often folks riding out a storm of poverty and addiction. This clip catches a man in a drug-fueled loop, barefoot and humming with energy, turning the bus interior into a chaotic jungle gym. He vaults seatbacks, sticks landings, and snaps into spur-of-the-moment choreography that shouldn't be possible on a moving vehicle. The unspoken menace sits 2 rows forward, a companion pounding the driver's protective glass, trying to spiderweb it, while the operator keeps both hands on the wheel and eyes on survival. Riders scattered to the periphery, phones up, because that's what we do when danger wears a spectacles costume. It is honestly impressive for a few beats. The balance, the rhythm, but the core is bleak. Infrastructure meant to carry a city becomes a stage for untreated crisis. When they finally disembark, the bus breathes out, the driver resets. The route continues like nothing happened. The city will log it as disturbance, but the clip is a Rorschach. Some see comedy, some see decay, most see systems fraying, public transit, public health, and public patience, all in one 3-minute burst of unwanted theater. India, a city zoo, date not listed. The camera shakes because no one believes what they're seeing. A man inside the lion enclosure. He's not stumbling by accident. He jumped in. Witnesses say he's intoxicated, which explains the reckless body language as he waves his arms and speaks to a full-grown lion like it's a house cat.
सो जाओ मैं वो पी क्या है उसके बुद्धि में वो चल रही है वो चीज सामने आता है जो बंदा अरे चिल्लाओ मत यार शांत हो भाई वो चिल्लाओ मत यार वो खा जाएगा सो जाएगा तो गर्दन पकड़ेगा सीधी चौकीदार आए कि पागल वागल तो ना है यार अबे भाई पी के वो नशे में यार नशे में इंसान अलग ही दुनिया में होता है वो सेम कुत्ते का बच्चा समझ रहा है इस टाइम पे
The lion pads closer, shoulders rolling, tail flicking, a predator's calculus in motion. But instead of a lunging charge, there's a tense, eerie standoff. The animal holds, ears twitching, gaze locked. Every zookeeper knows this razor's edge. One wrong move and instinct takes over. Staff shout, throw distractions, and angle for a rescue line. Online chatter later claims the man was extracted and the lion paid the price, euthanized to facilitate the save. We can't verify that fully here, but history shows this pattern far too often. Either way, the lesson is brutal. You don't enter an apex predator's home and expect soft endings. At a gun range, a man threats a loaded handgun like a fidget toy. Instead of keeping the muzzle down range, he waves it around absent-mindedly while stretching, scratching, and chatting. Each careless sweep of the barrel makes onlookers freeze because they know it only takes one twitch of a finger to turn negligence into tragedy. When another shooter finally steps in, he rips the gun from the man's hand, scolds him sharply, and escorts him out. The clip is short but tense. It's a perfect demonstration of why gun culture divides so sharply between those who treat firearms as tools versus props. The intervention probably prevented a horrific accident. The most chilling part is that the man doesn't seem to comprehend the danger he created. In spaces like that, safety isn't optional. Discipline is a difference between a practice session and a crime scene. Another public scene, another weapon treated like an argument accessory. During a heated protest, a woman enters the crowd with a clear agenda, not to debate, but to instigate. She shouts, postures, and finally reaches toward the firearm on her hip. Her gesture is small but unmistakable, the telltale lift of a shirt, the hand hovering near a grip, and immediately security responds. In seconds, trained guards swarmed her, disarm her, and separate her from the crowd. The rapid coordination saves lives. The footage underscores how fast a peaceful protest can tilt into tragedy when one person's ego meets a weapon. She might have claimed self-defense later, but the recording is unambiguous. She was spoiling for confrontation. It's a stark reminder that carrying a gun in public demands restraint equal to its power, something this woman clearly lacked. Boredom plus machinery equals very bad ideas. A group wheels out a heavy lift industrial drone, the kind used for recon, supplies, even firefighting, and decides to test a human carry. You can see the rigging, improvised harness, marginal clearances, props inches from limbs, and no redundancy of a single motor cuffs.
Agárrate bien, güey, con los pies, pon los pies bien ahí, güey. ¡Para arriba!
They throttle up, the frame chatters, the rider's feet leave the ground. For a moment, it looks like triumph. Then physics starts taking numbers. The drone yaws under asymmetric load. Prop wash kicks debris. The rig wants to pendulum. One gust, one ESC hiccup, one strap failure, and you're feeding a meat grinder spinning at thousands of RPM. They set back down, whooping like they cheated fate. The truth? They just borrowed time. If you've ever worked around UAS, you know these platforms aren't toys, and humans aren't payloads. Do not copy this. The margin for error isn't thin, it's non-existent. The next clip is deceptively mundane. A worker in an agricultural setting poking at stacks of grain with a long metal rod called a thief. The tool is used to sample seeds from the inside of a bag without opening it, but in this instance, he is wielding it among several other workers crowded close by, jabbing the cone blindly toward their ears and shoulders as if the humans aren't even there. One slip in that thin tube could easily puncture an ear or an eye. The dangerous absurdity is obvious to anyone watching. Why not check the seed before sealing or after unloading? If this kind of careless efficiency happens daily on work sites, it's a small snapshot of how repetitive tasks and complacency can erase the line between procedure and hazard. Police were called to a quiet neighborhood after a woman reported that her next-door neighbor had exposed himself to her while she was unloading groceries. According to witnesses, the man had been seen standing between the two houses with his pants completely down, openly touching himself in view of the neighbors. One witness explained that the man had a history of violent outbursts and had previously been jailed after assaulting his own parents, yet had recently returned home. When officers arrived, they spoke with neighbors who confirmed what had been seen. The victim described the man lowering his pants fully to his feet and engaging in explicit behavior, only stopping when he noticed her looking. She immediately retreated into her house and called for help.
Ryan, I'm the neighbor's over in here. He was just locked up for beating up his mother.
He pulled his pants all the way down or just to the knees?
All the way down. He has his
so all the way down to his feet
first.
Okay.
And he like masturbated stuff, and then he put his pants down. He's like, hey, hey. When he said, hey, hey, I look. I was like, I kind of looked like that, and he was like,
what happened after that? Did you just turn away and came inside?
He came inside and called me.
Understandable. That's probably my partner.
Officers then contacted the man's parents, who were inside the home, and asked if he would come outside to speak with them. When he finally emerged, he appeared disoriented, confused, and emotionally unstable. The officers tried to calmly ask him about the incident, but he responded with evasive answers, speaking in circles, denying anything happened, and acting paranoid about why police were there at all.
Who wants what now?
Hi.
Whose heart is beat?
What happened?
About what? I'm sleeping.
You were sleeping?
I'm sleeping.
248, 86, 10, 12. What happened like 10 minutes ago? Did something happen with your
10
neighbors?
minutes ago.
I don't know, something with your neighbors.
I don't know. What's 10 minutes ago?
Approximately 11:45.
So how could you tell?
Huh?
How could you tell?
Because somebody told us a time.
Tell you time of what?
So, that something happened outside.
Oh, who?
With you.
I mean, with what?
I'm asking.
That's what I want to know too.
Yeah, we're trying to just get your side
So
of the
I
story.
want to know what the truth is. Why are you trying to drag the truth side of me if you know what the truths are?
I don't know what the truths are. That's
Well,
why
then
I'm
I want
asking.
to know what the truths are as well.
As the conversation went on, his behavior grew increasingly erratic. He repeatedly claimed he had been sleeping, asked why officers were questioning him, and demanded to know what truth they were trying to get from him. The officers continued attempting to speak with him, but he abruptly shifted from confusion to agitation.
Okay. You don't know anything about what happened?
No, I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Did something happen with your neighbors?
I don't know who's neighbor. Who's the neighbor here?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I am speaking. Am I not speaking?
You are. You're just speaking in riddles. I'm just trying to figure out what happened, man.
Yeah, let me know what happens.
I'm asking you.
Well, let me know what happens.
Okay. All right. So you don't know what happened. You don't want to talk to me about the situation or anything.
So what's going to be the situation now?
I'm asking you, man. Why are you being like that with me? Just talk
Why
to me.
am I being like this? Why am my heart not being steady? Why is my heart not being kept steady?
Okay.
Where's my medication? Where is my mother smoking? And why is my stepfather still there?
I don't know.
So whose right are you trying to arrest here?
What?
Whose right are you trying to arrest?
Man, I'm just trying to find out
So
what
why
happened.
is there 3 of you and there's only, where's the squadron? Where's the police cars and why are they parked over there and they're not parked right here in front?
Because we don't.
Truck's parked right here.
Okay,
This
but
truck's
whose
parked
truck
right
is that?
Probably yours.
Whose truck is it?
Is it yours?
Do you want me to get a chain?
No.
Excuse me, I got a chain here
No.
somewhere.
No. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Nope.
See what happens to you, Mom? Where am I going?
To jail.
When told to turn around so he could be detained, he hesitated and clutched onto a book, refusing to let go. Officers had no choice but to place him under arrest.
Stop. Sorry, but I'm
Stop.
telling you what you think.
Stop.
Stop.
Why are you trying to arrest me, Mom?
It's not your mom.
That is not fair, Erwin. Who called the police on who? Don't you see I have to get my property, I have to get my things
You can let
together?
go of this. You can let go of this. Your parents have
No.
nothing to do with this, okay?
This is a good
Let
book.
go of this.
No.
Let go.
No.
Let go.
Let go.
Let go.
Let's see what you got.
It's a bat. It's like a book or something.
I didn't do nothing but tell you to stop trying to do these things to me.
Okay. Let's just walk.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to jail, man. I told you I can't be in jail. They already told you what. Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But look, I don't have nothing on me.
Okay. Just wait, man.
Wait, man. You know the right to release me, man. Why would you do this to me?
Let's go.
Sir, you need to walk with us, okay?
Better not be taking me to jail. You better be taking me to circle of jail. Because I don't have to go in the jail cell. Look, the last time I went to jail, they tried to take my life.
Despite his pleas, officers explained that once at the jail, mental health professionals could evaluate him and determine whether he should be transferred to a psychiatric facility. He continued to resist getting into the vehicle, but was ultimately secured.
I can just.
For what? What's the charge? What's the charge? On who? On who? And whose life is this?
You did transport. I want you to follow anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on the other side. Lean up against my car.
Sir, I swear to God, I tell you the truth. It was the truth, but look what the truth is.
So we're trying to find out the truth from you.
Well, sir, I'm telling you the truth, sir. On behalf of people who lie to me, I don't lie to officers.
Okay, I appreciate you.
So why can't I go to Circles
Can you let
of
go of
Care?
this book, please?
Yes.
Please send me to Circles of Care. I'm gonna claim what? My wallet. I need all my stuff. No, I cannot enter your premises until I see my belongings.
You're gonna get charged with resisting.
I'm not charging resistance,
Okay.
but I don't want to go to jail.
Get in the car.
Listen, I want to go to Circles of Care.
You don't get that choice.
Well, who gets a choice in right in life when he's already
Sit
told
in the
that
car.
He's
Sit in the car.
Listen, sir.
You can be Baker acted at the jail.
Following the arrest, it was confirmed that William was charged with exposure of sexual organs, first offense, as well as resisting arrest. He was later found guilty on both charges. His sentence included 6 months of county probation and 90 days in county jail, with 32 days credited for the time he had already served. The incident stands as another example of how quickly a situation involving public indecency combined with untreated mental health issues can escalate into a criminal case with long-term consequences.
But that doesn't mean that we didn't have time for Bible stories, science experiments, snacks, and learning important Bible verses that the kids could take with them. Come on, everybody to the...
The final clip is chaos inside a Michigan church, where a Sunday gathering of families and young ones turns into a nightmare. Without warning, a vehicle smashes through the building's wall. The stunned congregation freezes as the driver climbs out, gun in hand, and starts firing. Screams echo, parents scoop up their youngsters, and the pastor's voice booms over a microphone. Everybody to the back. Security moves fast, ushering people toward exits as the shooter advances. You can hear the panic blend with prayer and confusion.
Everybody come to the back. Come to the back. Don, they gotta come. They gotta come. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go. Out, I don't think is a good idea. Come on here.
Moments later, the sharp cracks of return fire ring out. The guard on duty has engaged the attacker. The man is struck and subdued, ending the assault. Miraculously, no parishioners were killed. Authorities later admit they still don't know the motive. It's an unfiltered reminder of how fragile public safety can be, even in the most sacred spaces, how quickly worship can turn into survival. Propane may seem harmless when contained, but this footage proves otherwise. It begins with a faint hiss in the corner of a small store. A woman notices and wisely retreats, but curiosity becomes her downfall. Moments later, believing the danger is past, she steps back toward the rear room. In the blink of an eye, the space detonates. The screen fills with a flash so bright it whites out the camera, followed by a shockwave that rattles the lens. Flames roar through the ceiling tiles. The woman barely escapes alive. Gas leaks are deceptive, silent, odor masked by other smells, often invisible until oxygen and spark meet. Both people in the footage walk away shaken but breathing, which borders on miraculous. The takeaway is brutally simple. Once gas is leaking, distance, not bravery, is a smart move. An esthetician from Paradise Valley, Jacqueline, 80s, met a man on the luxury dating app Luxy. One dinner, light conversation, and then a polite "this isn't a match" from him. For most people, that's where the story ends. For 80s, it was a prologue to an obsession. She began appearing at his home uninvited, tracking his movements, and flooding his phone with a torrent of messages. More than 65,000 in total, swinging between syrupy declarations and grotesque, violent imagery. She wrote of bathing in his blood, wearing his flesh, and carving parts of him into keepsakes. Phrases she framed as proof of devotion, but which read like threats. The crescendo came when police found her calmly taking a bath in his house, as though she lived there. During interviews, her logic fractured. She called herself his wife after one date. She claimed she'd never harm him, then insisted she would do anything if he abandoned her. In one surreal exchange, she riffed off E equals MC squared, proclaiming L equals 3.3. That's the equation of eternal love, as if physics could notarize fixation.
So the rest of the equation is L equals 3.3. L equals 3.3 times E equals MC squared, and that's the equation of eternal love.
Evaluators later deemed her incompetent to stand trial, and charges were dismissed on mental health grounds. For the target of her attention, the aftermath was a long exhale. The knowledge that sometimes love bombing is an affection turned up too loud. It's delusion, escalating until reality locks its doors. This bizarre clip surfaced online on August 7th, originating from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it all started with a dog chewing on the wrong thing. Home security footage shows a quiet living room where two dogs and a cat wander around. One of the dogs spots something small on the counter, a lithium-ion power bank, the kind used to charge phones. Curious, it grabs the device and begins to gnaw on it. Seconds later, there's a loud pop, and a burst of fire erupts across the floor. The cat bolts upstairs in a flash, disappearing from sight, while the other dog circles the smoke, barking frantically as flames spread. Within moments, the room fills with thick black smoke. You can see glowing embers scatter as curtains catch fire. Fire officials later confirmed that the blaze started after the dog punctured the internal battery, causing a violent thermal reaction. The video was released by the Tulsa Fire Department as a warning to keep portable batteries away from pets and heat sources. By some miracle, all three animals, the two dogs and the cat, escaped unharmed. The home, however, suffered severe damage. It's a chilling example how something as harmless as curiosity can ignite chaos, quite literally. In 2012, Sarah Alexandra Baddeley Kirby, 30, set sail on the Carnival of Destiny for a birthday escape with her fiancé. Hours of casino play and bar pours, discounted drinks she later claimed to keep her wagering, left her heavily intoxicated. Back at their cabin, she stepped onto the balcony for air, leaned, lost balance, and fell 7 decks. On the way down, she struck a life raft, crushing impact before the water even claimed her. Witnesses raised the alarm, but the ship kept steaming for roughly 90 minutes before slowing. By recovery, Sarah had spent over 2 hours in cold black water, hypothermic, with fractured ribs, orbital breaks, and lung trauma. Onboard care, she alleged, amounted to painkillers, no medevac, no decisive trauma response. She survived, but with injuries and a story that became a federal lawsuit against the cruise line and medical staff for negligence. The lesson is brutal. At sea, minutes matter, and institutional inertia can be as dangerous as the drop. Party culture sells the fantasy that the ocean is a backdrop. It isn't. It's a force, and it doesn't care who's celebrating. Few clips capture instant karma like this one. A group of young troublemakers huddle near a fenced junkyard, taunting a pit bull whose territory they clearly underestimate. The dog lunges forward, snarling, teeth flashing behind chain links and razor wire. Instead of backing off, they push closer until the animal breaks free of its restraint. Panic replaces laughter as the youngsters bolt in every direction, shrieking while the dog charges. Judging by its intensity and the layout, this wasn't some random stray. It was a guard dog doing its job. The moment embodies the line between teasing and trespassing. These weren't harmless pranks. They were deliberate provocations met with instinctive defense. Watching it, you can't help but think they earned the scare, and perhaps learn the hard way that every cage holds consequences. On October 2, 2006, Frances Elaine Campione turned her camera on, voice steady but vibrating with accusation. She spoke of a failed marriage, divine protection, and systematic betrayal. Cast officials, courts, and in-laws who she said refused to shield her and her daughters.
3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I endured tremendously by Leonardo Campione, and then the past year from Anna and Diego Campione, the mental and emotional abuse, which wouldn't stop, and I had CAS keep bringing these two people into my life over and over again when I kept telling them the amount of mental and emotional abuse it was causing my 3-year-old daughter Serena and I and Sophia. It was horrible and uncalled for, and I want justice to my family for what they have all done to us. I cried out for help. They should have charged him for the assaults he did to me, the assaults he did to my oldest daughter Serena, and they did nothing for us.
What the lens couldn't admit, hours earlier, she had drowned Serena and Sophia in the bathtub, dressed their small bodies in pajamas, and staged the room before attempting to take her own life. The video, later played in court, became the prosecution's keystone, not a heat-of-the-moment spiral, but a composed monologue delivered with full awareness of consequences. The defense cataloged psychiatric admissions, suicide attempts, and delusional thinking, yet the jury weighed her clarity, naming names, parsing motives, casting herself as aggrieved, and returned 2 first-degree murder convictions in 2010. Life with no parole eligibility for 25 years. Appeals followed. A judge later hinted he might have overturned the verdict if empowered, citing long-term abuse. Public reaction was unambiguous. The footage remains one of the most chilling artifacts in Canadian true crime. A calm, deliberate address that doubles as an admission by omission, recorded the very day the future ended for 2 young ones. Crystal and Damien love their first home until the home starts answering back. It begins with hallway knocks and objects migrating, then escalates. A late-night recording catches laughter and movement where no doors should be opening. During a kitchen argument, a plate slides, explainable, then a second plate launches from a cabinet and targets Damien, less explainable.
Keep hanging out with your friends if that's how it's going to make you feel at the end of the day. Like, it feels more like...
They don't mean to do, they're not like planning on, you know,
Do you know how shitty it feels to hang out with a group of people and they don't even want you there?
They do want you there.
They
want you there. They like you a lot. No, they don't.
That's the only reason.
They like you because they're but they like you a lot.
They're acting rude to me.
They're not trying. That's just how they. Hey.
Later, Crystal hears someone come in, footsteps she knows by heart, and no one around the doorway. The couple bails to an Airbnb, sleep deprived and spooked, then return with the worst plan you can Google, a seance.
Yeah. We're just outside because it's getting weird in there and we don't feel safe being in there anymore, so we're just gonna go to an Airbnb for the night and just for the night. And then we're gonna figure out.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
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 Close your eyes.
At first, only pressure in the air, the kind that rides your shoulders. Then the shower door in the adjoining bath hammers like something caged. Once out, they bolt again to the car, night swallowing the porch behind them. Whatever the ledger, poltergeist, stray infrasound rattling cabinetry, or stress scripting meaning onto randomness, the lived result is identical. They no longer feel safe in the rooms they own until there's a fix they can believe in. They're tenants of a place they're paying for but won't sleep in. 25 seconds on a train, Lee Pomeroy. On January 4, 2019, Lee Pomeroy, 51, boarded a train at London Road, Guildford, with his 14-year-old son. A minor aisle dispute with Darren Pencil, 36, flared, cooled, and then reignited when Lee followed into the next carriage to continue the exchange. What followed unfolded in less than half a minute. Voices sharpened, hands gestured, and Pencil drew a knife, stabbing 18 times. A frenzy compressed into a handful of seconds between situations. He fled at the next stop. Paramedics boarded a Clan near Horsley, but Lee was pronounced dead. Pencil was arrested the following day and later convicted of murder. Life sentence. The case chilled the UK because of its ordinariness. No long feud, no criminal conspiracy, just two strangers, a tight space, and a decision that left a young one fatherless. It's the nightmare of public transit, how rapidly a crowded carriage can become a crime scene, and how little time there is to stop it once steel meets flesh. A sunny afternoon in Detroit turns chaotic when a low-flying helicopter drifts too close to a crowd gathered at a park. At first it looks routine, people waving, cheering, cameras up, but something is wrong. The craft begins to wobble, tail rotor screaming, and suddenly the airframe clips a fence. The impact sends shards of metal and debris across the spectators. One woman, phone in hand, refuses to move. Filming through the chaos as if denial could shield her from shrapnel. Dust fills the shot, people scatter, and the pilot's frantic corrections barely keep the machine from flipping completely. No one should have been that close in the first place. What should have been a cool flyover becomes a lesson in physics, proximity, and poor boundaries, a case study in how fast spectacle turns to disaster when humans forget respect for distance. April 22, 2012, in a North Bend home, Peter Keller put an 8-year plan into motion. He shot his wife Lynette and daughter Kayleen in their sleep, killed family pets, and torched the house to erase his trail, then vanished into the Cascades to occupy a secret he had built by hand, a 2-story hillside bunker sunk roughly 20 feet into the earth. Braced with timber and packed with food stores, solar panels, a generator, weapons, ammo, and a police scanner, the structure was a physical thesis of a survivalist worldview. Self-reliance sharpened into misanthropy. A region-wide manhunt followed, from scorched hard drives to phone pings and old photos. Investigators triangulated the mountain hide. A 22-hour standoff ended when SWAT breached from above. Inside, Keller lay dead from a self-inflicted gunshot. The most haunting discovery wasn't the fortification. It was a video diary recorded 2 weeks earlier. In it, Keller spoke evenly about cutting ties with society, acknowledging people might die, and coolly noting, "I can always shoot myself." The bunker, once imagined as a monument to survival, revealed itself as a crypt, proof that his meticulous planning wasn't about preserving life so much as controlling the manner of leaving it. In Edmonton on December 6, 2024, Harshandeep Singh, a 20-year-old international student from Haryana, India, was on just his 3rd shift as a security guard in an apartment complex. The work was routine until it wasn't. In a stairwell encounter with Evan Rain and Judith Stowe, a shove sent Harshandeep backward down the steps. Before he could rise, a shot cracked the concrete air. Residents dialed 911. Responders found him unresponsive at the landing and rushed him to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Police quickly arrested Rain and Stowe, charging both with first-degree murder. For classmates in the Punjabi diaspora, the loss cut deeply. A young man who had crossed an ocean for credentials and a foothold, reduced to a headline in a memorial photo. The case became a stark reminder that the most ordinary liminal spaces, stairwells, corridors, thresholds, can become killing grounds in seconds, and that those who keep watching them often carry the heaviest risk for the thinnest pay. In the summer of 1999, Virginia high schooler Chris Chilry began filming a moody slice of folklore, an art magazine piece on a rural overpass locals called Satan's Bridge. The camera found more than atmosphere. Along the approach and embankments, deer remains, some skeletonized, some torn and bagged as if dumped. Hunters maybe, or something else. Under the bridge, the lens caught a pentagram of stones, ash and sand brushed into channels, spent black candles, and a charred religious tract marked with John 3:16, the aesthetic of ceremony scorched into concrete shade. Chilry would later say the worst was in film. Over 1999 to 2000, multiple human bodies found near the site pattern that convinced him this wasn't random cruelty but organized ritual. The tape circulated, the location metastasized into lore. Today, it's a dare spot for thrill seekers who want a night photo and a shiver, but memory clings to the pilings. Whether the rites were theater, pantology, or true belief hardly comforts. Some places accumulate intent, layer by layer, until the air under a bridge feels crowded even when you're alone. It was just after 6 a.m. on September 3, 2025 when Santa Clara police received a frantic 911 call from a home on Eisenhower Drive. The caller's voice was trembling. His roommate, 30-year-old Mohammed Nizamuddin, was stabbing another man inside the house. As dispatchers gathered information, the sounds in the background were chilling. The victim could be heard pleading for help, his voice breaking as the attack continued. The caller shouted that the knife had snapped in half during the struggle, but before officers could arrive, Nizamuddin had already grabbed a second knife.
What's that emergency?
Hi. One of my housemates is attacking another of them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You said your husband's attacking someone?
Housemate.
Okay, what's the address? What's your
No, this is not good. You guys have a drink with me? You think that's good? Please help me. Scout, please help me. Scout, help me.
Hello?
Please help me. Please help me.
Sir?
Please help me. What are you talking about?
Okay, where are they still struggling in the hallway?
No, he's gotten up. What are you doing?
Where's his arm?
He's got another knife.
He's got a knife now?
He's got another knife. He's keeping. Jesus Christ.
When the first officer reached the home, he could hear chaos from inside. He forced the front door open. What he saw was horrifying. In the hallway, Nizamuddin was straddling the victim, knife in hand, surrounded by 3 terrified roommates. The officer shouted commands, but when Nizamuddin's arm came down in a stabbing motion toward the victim, the officer fired 4 shots, striking him with each one.
Get your hands up! Hands up! Who is it? Bottom or top? Put the knife down!
Okay, sure.
Put the knife down!
Sure.
Get back, everybody get back.
Should I go in?
706 shots fired.
Should I go in?
Out here. Get out, everybody get out. Out front. Move! Move! Can you walk?
I'm trying. I've been stabbed.
Get away from the knife. Sir, try to walk your way out there, please. Is there anybody else in the house?
No, sir. No, sir.
Everybody get outside. Subject sat gunpoint. I've got one stabbed. Where you stabbed? Where you stabbed, sir?
I'm trying.
Our main victim's going to be in a gray robe. I'm trying to get him to go outside. Incoming unit, just come in the house. Help this guy get out, please.
Officers immediately pulled the bleeding victim outside and began life-saving aid until paramedics arrived. Inside, they handcuffed Nizamuddin and tried to treat him as well. He was rushed to the hospital but later died from his injuries. 2 knives were recovered at the scene, one snapped in half, the other is still intact. The victim, despite suffering multiple stab wounds to his hands, chest, and abdomen, miraculously survived. No officers were injured.
Right by his left hand and then another blade down by his leg there.
Yeah. Shield up. Don't move.
A morning that began in quiet suburban calm ended in screams, chaos, and tragedy, a moment of violence that left a home and a neighborhood forever changed. YouTuber Timothy Birmingham is known for plain-spoken food reviews and gentle domestic vlogs, air-fried pork chops, simple pleasures, a home that felt lived in.
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Cooking with Timothy. Tonight gonna be having air-fried pork chops.
In January 2017, he filmed a routine day, a quiet bedroom, Penny seemingly asleep, the clock showing noon, him softly noting that she usually would have been up by then, maybe at her computer. He padded through the house, narrating in that unhurried cadence fans recognized. Only later did the gravity surface. Penny had passed away during the night. Viewers who caught the upload before it was set private describe an uncanny split screen of tone and truth. The ordinary patter of a spouse going about chores, while finality lay just out of frame. In time, Timothy shares tributes and memories. The channel's atmosphere shifted, not into sensational grief, but a quieter register, videos that understood how absence changes the way a room sounds. It is one of the internet's eeriest artifacts precisely because there is no horror framing. Only a human being living 1 minute before his life is different forever. Some pain transcends language, and this clip captures it perfectly. A man takes an unexpected hit straight to the groin, the kind that makes every viewer wince in sympathetic agony. There is no build-up, no context, just instant regret captured in real time. He doubles over, legs together, face contorted, while his surroundings erupt in laughter. For a few seconds, humanity unites. Every man watching knows that pulse and nausea that wipes the brain clean. It's slapstick in its purest, cruelest form. Funny only because we've all been there. Grateful it's not us. At a gas station in Voronezh, Russia, a driver somehow ended up setting his own car on fire while filling it with petrol. Surveillance footage shows him using a lighter near the gas tank, sparking an immediate flame. It's unclear what he was trying to do or whether the fire was put out before it consumed the entire vehicle. Either way, it's a dangerous reminder that open flames and fuel never mix. Check out this terrifying footage of a mother and her young one just avoid tragedy. A mother and her child were just seconds from disaster when a large object plummeted from the roof of a nearby building, smashing into the ground only inches from where they stood. The incident, caught on camera, serves as a chilling reminder of the hidden dangers that exist in urban environments, where something as simple as a walk down the sidewalk can turn deadly in an instant. Their narrow escape highlights the urgent need for stricter building safety measures and regular maintenance to prevent debris from turning public spaces into hazards. In a moment that could have ended in tragedy, the fact that they walked away unharmed feels nothing short of miraculous. Seeing a fuel truck barreling downhill, the rider quickly veered off to the side of the road just in time to avoid a dangerous collision. Security footage shows the exact moment a fuel truck with failed brakes barreled down a highway and slammed into a parked car. The cause of the brake failure is still unclear. Fortunately, the driver appears to have survived the impact. Even more remarkably, a motorcyclist heading in the opposite direction managed to swerve just in time to avoid getting caught in the crash. It's a kind of close call that reminds you how quickly things can go wrong on the road. On June 6, 2024, police were called to a furniture store after employees reported that a woman who had been tied to a $30,000 fraud case at the same store about a year earlier had shown up again. Take a look.
I think she's probably about to do something today. That's why they called. They just want her ID'd and escorted out. He's deciding if he wants to actually trespass or not, but at the very least we can try to ID him. Sounds like she has a couple different aliases. Trespass would give us the hard cement of we need to get your ID in because we need to put on record. One with the hat on. Copy. So they want the trespass to be issued for both. Go ahead. Hey, ma'am. Can I talk to you? Yeah. Do you have an ID on you? Yeah. So the store is telling us that there's something going on between you and them.
Me and them?
Yeah, that's what they're telling us. So
I've never done nothing. I'm confused.
Okay. Well, they're telling me one thing. That's why I'm coming to talk to you, and that's why I'm requesting your identification. So.
Okay. It's in the car. That's weird. How? We just walked in the store.
I understand. Whatever you have going on with them, I'm not exactly sure the depths of the details, but it sounds like they're expecting or investigating you for some kind of fraud or something like that. So, go ahead.
We didn't apply for nothing.
I'm just telling you what they told me.
Officers confronted the woman and this happened.
Ma'am, do you have an ID on you as well? I was talking to her. What's that? Look, I just explained to her you guys are...
Different cars, because that's ground for a lawsuit. So, I'm like completely browsing. Right.
The store is suspecting you of some kind of fraud, like I said.
Why? Because we're black?
No, not at all.
How is that a being suspected? I've never heard of that.
They're letting us know that you two have supposedly, allegedly committed some kind of fraud at other locations. They recognized you, so they called us.
No, never.
Comments on the video weren't pleased with the woman suggesting this to be a race issue when she appears guilty. Keep watching.
Do you have your ID, ma'am?
Yeah, and I would like an apology.
Apology from who?
From the store and whoever else. That's crazy to me.
Is your middle initial Z or L? Do you think that's her? The first one?
I don't know. She has two DLs on her, too.
2 driver's license? Yeah, I saw the back one sitting in her purse, and she tucked it back in when she came to this one. Okay. I'm convinced that it's her, though. She looks a little different, no? When was it issued? Might just be like an old photo or... Hey, it's Demby. Hi, could you do me a favor and call Downers Grove and see if actively investigating the fraud? I'm not sure exactly when it occurred, but it sounds like within the last probably week or so. Apparently this individual uses a bunch of different IDs. She has a couple different aliases that the store's been passing around. They're convinced it's her, so I want to make sure I actually have the right person before I go issuing a trespass just yet. So there's no reason why they're telling me that you guys are being investigated for fraud?
No reason. And then he just said they're going to give us the no trespassing. For what?
Well, again, they have enough to believe that you have committed fraud at other locations, right? That's, again, why they're calling us in the first place at all. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here if they didn't.
I didn't even know that was a thing, like, to suspect somebody of fraud that never even did a transaction.
To suspect somebody of something, you don't necessarily need to know 100% that they committed.
Unsuspecting them?
To investigate the possibility of a crime being committed, sure.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, 1 sec. All right, it's Officer Andrews. I got a pretty good feeling that the ID that the first one gave me is not going to be her. She looks a little bit different, and she seems a little bit older. So I guess the ID belongs to somebody who's 22. The address, she verified her date of birth. Tell me, Tempe. Tell me, we got one running. Get on the ground, do it now. Get on the ground. Stay down. You're under arrest. Cuffs. Go check on her. Stop pulling. Stop reaching. Tuck your knee. Tuck your knee and roll. There you go. Do you have shoes on? No. Stop pulling away from me. Stop pulling away from me. Stop. I am not. I'm locking you to my squad. I got it. Let's go. Do not move.
Stop talking
Do not
to me.
move.
Stop talking to me like that.
No.
It's hot in here. It's hot.
I know you were tapping on the window, but I don't want to talk to you because
I was saying it was hot.
Let me read this to you real quick. All right. So you have the right to remain silent. Whatever you say can and will be used against you in court.
When she arrived at the station, officers took her fingerprints, which revealed more than 10 aliases tied to previous arrests. She was released shortly afterward with a court date already on the books. This happened in Vietnam and shows a young girl with insane reflexes cheating death like it's a Final Destination movie. The moment she stepped into the room, something felt off, and she instinctively turned and ran. Just seconds later, the ceiling came crashing down. Her quick reaction and sharp instincts likely saved her from what could have been a life-threatening collapse. On the morning of March 30, 2025, an Overland police officer pulled into a gas station parking lot on Page Avenue after getting an alert about a white Chevy Sonic linked to an aggravated battery case involving an officer in Caseyville, Illinois. When officers approached the car, they ordered both the driver and passenger to get out. The passenger did. The driver didn't.
Let's see your hands. Don't move. Don't move. Get out of the fucking car. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Get out of the car. Get out of the car now. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. You run, you're getting bit. You run, you're getting bit. What I do? Get on the ground. Get out of the car now. Get out of the fucking car. On your stomach. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Do it now. There's nowhere to go. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the fucking car now.
Instead, the driver tried to run. The officer tackled him and during the struggle, fired a shot hitting the suspect in the arm.
You run, you get bit. On the ground, do it now. Hey. Get him, get him, get him. Here, go help him. Get on the ground now. Oh, shit. On the ground, put it down, turn over. On your stomach, on the stomach. Hands behind your back. Shots fired. Hands behind your back. You're all right. 2 David 81, shots fired.
That man was later identified as 28-year-old Eddie Washington, who also had a parole violation warrant. He was taken to the hospital with a non-life-threatening injury and is now facing charges for resisting arrest. His bond was set at $5,000 cash only. The passenger was arrested without incident. We've all seen bad driving, but this one's on another level. A construction worker is clearly waving, trying to stop the driver before disaster strikes. There's a huge hole right in the middle of the road, surrounded by obvious signs of ongoing work, and yet somehow the driver just keeps going, slamming their car straight into the pit, nearly hitting a worker in the process. The craziest part? We never even get to see who was behind the wheel. In this video, a guy jumps into freezing Arctic water with the help of a small crowd, not for a dare or challenge, but to recover a dropped phone.
2, count of 3. 1, 2. You killed it, yes.
Guy, man.
Oh my God.
You ready to pull him up?
Yeah. No, he's got his light on.
Yeah.
Don't pull him yet. Oh yeah.
What's really insane is he managed to find it. Still, you should never try this, people. An insane machete fight broke out at Northland Shopping Center in Australia, sending the entire mall into lockdown. Police say around 10 people were involved, including a 15-year-old. The group split into 2 rival teams, some of them armed with knives, and clashed inside the busy shopping center. One person was left in critical condition, and witnesses described the scene as terrifying. The brawl, which involved around 10 people, some armed with knives, left one man in his 20s critically injured and sent the entire mall into lockdown. He's now in stable condition. Officers arrested 2 individuals, including a 15-year-old, who are currently being questioned. Authorities believe the fight was planned and that both groups knew each other. What do you think? On August 6, 2022, something pretty upsetting happened at an apartment complex in West Palm Beach. A little boy about 3 years old was found wandering around the parking lot all by himself. He kept calling out hello, clearly hoping someone would come for him, but no one showed up. People nearby noticed him, but there was no parent in sight. One concerned person stepped in and gently got the boy to walk with him while they tried to figure out where his mom was.
What's up, man? What's your name? Okay, listen, I'm gonna put this badge on you, okay? I'm gonna make you a police officer right now, okay? You gotta help me out. We gotta find your mommy. Can we walk and find out where your mom is at? Okay. Yeah, we'll walk around for a little bit.
Just walk around. Call the
office.
No, mommy's over the moon.
Over the moon?
Yeah, over the moon.
Over the moon. We'll walk around and we'll start knocking on doors.
Yeah.
The boy kept saying things like his mommy was over the moon or over the lake. It didn't really make sense. He mentioned playground, slides, and stairs, but it was all jumbled and confusing.
Look, that's a playground.
Yeah.
A playground.
What's up, buddy?
I went to the playground.
You went to the playground?
To the playground, but which way did you come from?
26.
Mommy's over there on the moon.
You keep saying mommy's over here on the moon.
I went to the stairs.
Did you come down the stairs? Did you come down to go to the playground?
Yeah, I come down and go to the playground and the slide and the blue slide.
Okay, who are you at home with? Mommy, is mommy in the house?
Over that corner. Mommy's over the lake.
She's over the lake?
No, it's not over the lake.
Okay.
But look, that's the water.
Yeah.
A waterfall.
Okay. Where do you go to sleep at night? Where's your room at?
I go to bed.
Where's your bed at?
I went to West Palm Beach.
We're in West Palm.
I went to the playground.
Okay.
Over here.
Okay. No, not yet. I'm gonna start knocking on the door.
Police showed up and started knocking on doors, hoping someone recognized the kid or knew where he lived. Nobody did. Eventually, they managed to get in touch with the boy's mom. That's when things got even more confusing. She said he was supposed to be with his dad, but couldn't give straight answers about where they were staying, who the dad was, or how to reach him.
Palm Beach Police Department, do you know where your son is?
He's with his dad.
Well, we believe that we have your son here, and he was outside by himself.
Can you give me dad's info so that we can get him to his parent? Actually, I'm gonna try to send you a picture of this little boy, and can you tell me if this is your son or not? He's about 3 years old, saying his first name is Liam.
Yeah, that's his last name.
Well, we don't know if he didn't tell us his last name. We found your like basically your son's name in a database, in our records database. I'm gonna let you speak to the child to see if you recognize the voice.
Okay.
Is he in the back? I could possibly have mom on the phone, so I'm gonna let her speak to him. Can you talk to? Is this mommy?
Ma'am?
Is that mommy?
Hi, my baby. What's wrong?
He's not speaking. So does that sound like your son, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. So can you provide me with the phone number so that we can get dad and have him come so he can have the child?
I don't have his phone number.
Okay. How do you all communicate?
We just communicate.
Okay. How?
When they asked for the dad's phone number, she said she deleted it. She also mentioned a guy named Dandy who was supposedly watching the kid, but cops couldn't find any sign this person even existed. Turns out the actual biological dad, Herbert, lived out of state, but the mom kept insisting she handed the boy off to Andy. The story kept changing and nothing really added up. She said she'd been bouncing between hotels and didn't explain why her son ended up alone outside.
How you doing? We called about your child?
Yeah.
Your child that's missing?
Yeah.
Did you know that he was missing?
No, because
He's supposed to be with his dad. Do you know where we found him?
well, they said Malibu Bay.
Okay. Where is your room?
Right here.
Okay. Who is in there with you?
Nobody's in there.
Thank you. So you're here with who?
Well, it's me and my son, but
You just said that you and your son were.
Yeah, we came here and he's supposed to be with his dad.
You just said the room is for you and your dad, or I'm sorry, for you and your son. But then you dropped your son off to the father.
Yeah.
Where did you drop the? You dropped him off here. Okay. Where is Andy at now?
I don't know.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you communicate with dad to facilitate that meeting today? I'm gonna get a Miranda card, Sarge.
When police asked if she understood how serious it was to leave a small child unattended, her answers were vague. Officers tried to stay calm and explain everything to her clearly. They reminded her of her rights and said they just wanted to get the full story for the sake of the child. But communication was all over the place. She talked about texts that weren't actually texts and mentioned godly people who somehow connected her with a father. It was clear she wasn't giving them the whole picture, or maybe she couldn't.
Alright, so you understand, I'm asking you these questions and I've been on the phone with you. It was me that you were speaking to. I've been on the phone with you because I'm trying to assist. Because as of right now, I'm concerned for the well-being of the child. Nothing is really making sense right now. Basically, your explanation of how things happen. We understand things happen, okay? However, when somebody is being very evasive when we're trying to help them, it looks bad, very bad, especially when it involves a child. So I'm just trying to basically get your side so that I can understand why it is we got involved today and why it is that, Liam is outside by himself, doesn't know where he is. Okay, he's supposed to be with his dad. Is there like a court order or anything like that?
No.
Okay, how do you all often communicate? By phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay, I don't understand why you're uneasy right now.
916,
Turn around.
Dinner detail 10.
Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest, okay? Put your hands together like you're praying. Under arrest, okay?
Why?
Have you ever heard of child neglect?
Yeah, but I didn't neglect my child.
Do you know what that means? Can you explain what child neglect is?
When you don't take care of your kids.
All right, walk with me.
In the end, the little boy was safe and taken into police custody. The mom was arrested on suspicion of child neglect after giving a bunch of conflicting, unclear answers and leaving the boy in a place where he could have easily been hurt. Police also found out she had another son who showed up later with her uncle. It seemed like she was struggling to keep stable housing and care for her kids. The whole thing shook up both neighbors and officers. It was scary how easily a toddler could end up alone near roads and danger without anyone even noticing. The case raised serious questions about the mother's ability to care for her kids and how things got so bad without anyone stepping in sooner. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.